I never believed in old folk tales or curses. Growing up in the bustling city of Seoul, superstition seemed a thing of the past. But everything changed when my family moved into a traditional Hanok house, passed down through generations. We were excited to live in a piece of history, but we were unaware of the dark legacy that came with it. It started subtly. My wife, Ji Young, noticed things first. She heard whispers at night, soft and indistinct, like someone talking just out of earshot. Our son, Min Ho, claimed to see shadows moving in the corners of his room. I dismissed it as their imagination, the creaks and groans of an old house. One evening, while cleaning the attic, I found an old wooden box hidden in a corner. Inside were faded photographs, a worn-out diary, and an intricately carved wooden mask. The mask sent a shiver down my spine. It was eerily lifelike, its eyes hollow and haunting. Ji Young was fascinated, recognizing it as a relic from an ancient Korean folk tale about a cursed mask that brought misfortune to its owners. We should have left the mask alone. That night, as we slept, a chilling wind swept through the house. The temperature dropped, and an overwhelming sense of dread settled over us. I woke up to see Ji Young standing by the window, staring into the darkness. She turned to me, eyes wide with fear. "Do you hear that?" she whispered. At first, I heard nothing. Then the whispers began. They grew louder, filling the room with an unsettling chorus of voices. I grabbed Ji Young and Min Ho and rushed downstairs, but the whispers followed us. The air felt thick, heavy with an unseen presence. Desperate for answers, I delved into the diary from the attic. It belonged to my great-grandmother, who had lived in the house during the Japanese occupation of Korea. Her entries detailed strange occurrences and the tragic death of her brother, who had brought the cursed mask into the house. Each generation, someone in the family experienced similar horrors, a curse passed down through the bloodline. As I read, a chilling realization hit me. We were the next victims. The whispers, the shadows, the eerie mask, it all made sense. We were trapped in a cycle of supernatural torment, and the only way out was to confront the curse head-on. The next day, we visited a shaman, hoping to find a way to lift the curse. She listened intently as I recounted our experiences, her expression growing graver by the minute. She confirmed our fears. The mask was a vessel for a vengeful spirit, angered by the injustices suffered by our ancestors. The only way to appease the spirit was to perform a ritual, offering it peace and closure. That night, we gathered in the living room, the shaman leading the ritual. Candles flickered, casting long shadows on the walls. The air was thick with incense and anticipation. As the shaman chanted, the whispers grew louder, almost deafening. The shadows around us seemed to come alive, swirling and dancing in the dim light. Suddenly, the room plunged into darkness. The candles extinguished, and the whispers stopped, replaced by an oppressive silence. My heart pounded in my chest as I felt a cold breath on the back of my neck. I turned to see the mask, now glowing with an eerie light, floating in midair. The shaman's voice rose above the silence, commanding the spirit to show itself. The mask fell to the floor with a thud, and a spectral figure emerged from it. It was a woman, her face twisted with rage and sorrow. Her eyes locked onto mine, and I felt a wave of despair wash over me. She spoke in a language I couldn't understand, but her message was clear. She wanted justice for the suffering endured by her family. The shaman continued chanting, urging us to repeat the words of the ritual. We held hands, voices trembling as we followed her lead. The spirit's anger seemed to intensify, the room shaking violently. Just when I thought we couldn't endure anymore, a blinding light filled the room. The spirit let out a piercing scream, and then everything went still. The mask lay shattered on the floor, its curse finally broken. We left the house the next day, unable to shake the memories of that night. The whispers had stopped, and the shadows no longer haunted us, but the experience left a permanent mark on our souls. We moved to a modern apartment in the heart of Seoul, leaving the cursed Hanok and its dark history behind. Though the curse was lifted, I often find myself thinking about the spirit and the pain it carried for generations. The old folk tales and superstitions I once dismissed now held a new significance. Some stories, it seems, are rooted in truth, and some curses are all too real. As I write this, I can still feel the cold breath on my neck, hear the whispers in the dark. The legend of the cursed mask is one my family will never forget, a reminder that some relics of the past should remain undisturbed.